surprise mechanics.
We got into this thing with the best intentions, really. I never...
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? I didn't mean to do that. Please, continue.
Why do you fucking need that in a basketball game?
What does this add to basketball? How can anybody that plays this justify this?
When I lay my fingers upon thee.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Okay, look, this video is going to be a lot less structured than the other videos, and that's because this video is a lot more personal to me, a lot more emotional as well, and so it's going to be less professional because of it. And if I fluff my lines anywhere, I'm sorry for it. If I swear, I'm sorry for it. But yeah, let's get into it. Look, Ultimate Team, my team, these things have been around for nearly a decade now. I'd say for some of them it's been over a decade. For my team it was 2013, and we know the damage that these sports games have caused to the rest of the gaming industry, and it's not a shock because when you have a game that makes that much money off of a game mode, other developers are going to look at it and go, well, we can surely do the same thing, or at least try. And that's where you have examples of Battlefront 2, GTA trying to do the same thing, because they run into the same examples of going, maybe we can get some more money, maybe not in the billions, but definitely at least close. And that's where the problem comes in, because some developers, some of them, not all of them, some of them decide, let's focus on how to implement or sneak past the gamer loot boxes and microtransactions, and let's try and get as much money as possible rather than making the game as perfect or as playable as possible. And look, if you look at the money side of things when it comes to FIFA Ultimate Team, especially a Madden Ultimate Team, they are making billions over the past decade. It's not even close how much money they're making. They're making more money off a game mode than off the game itself. That should tell you everything. It's ridiculous. The reality is that the Ultimate Team, my team in NBA 2K, it doesn't have any longevity because, of course, when you buy a pack, right, you open a pack, you get a player. What happens? The following year, do you get to keep that same player? No. You have to open packs again to try and find that same player.
That's some funny shit.
So it's not like back in the day when you would, go to a store, right, yeah, and buy packs, buy physical, packs, and open them and get to keep them forever. It's not the same thing. You have to spend money each year, and it's getting to the point where it's ridiculous. Now, the customers, the loyal gamers of these games are ruining not only their own game, but other games as well that they might not play or they might not play, I don't know. But they are incredibly docile, blind to a fault. They also seem to enter this cycle of, and if you've played these games before, you'll understand this cycle of, the game comes out, it's optimism, you hope that the game's better than it was last year, and then around January, February times, the game's not as good as they thought it was going to be, so they get upset. And then you see videos be made by YouTubers and whatnot saying how crap the game is or how disappointed the game is, or then they come up with a wish list. And in regards to the changes that they make as well, that FIFA make and Madden make and NBA 2K make, some of them aren't up to par or what we recommend. Now in 2K games, when it comes to NBA 2K, they're a lot more efficient when it comes to new features in the games, and you can go back and look at the examples of that. But they are way better at implementing new features into their game more than Madden and FIFA are. But they are still to blame because they have my team, and they still make money, tons of money off of my team, and also the virtual currency that they have in their game. These developers of these three games are taking the piss. How many times, and every single one of you understand this, how many times have they removed features and added them years later? removed not terrible features, features that people loved, but then they brought them back. If that isn't taking the piss, I don't know what is. Then if you look at other games as well that have been affected by Ultimate Team and My Team, you look at Battlefront 2 and how they snuck in loot boxes into their multiplayer that was practically pay to win, and how the community in that game said, no, we're not taking that. And what happened? I think it was months later, EA was like, okay, we have to remove these loot boxes because people are unhappy. That is the power that the gamers have when it comes to their games. You don't have to, and this is the problem I have with the community of 2K, FIFA and Madden, is that for some reason they hold on to the idea that maybe one day FIFA or EA and 2K right here will fix their game and stop letting them having to pay to win. And it's almost like I'll just sit here and do nothing and hope everything around me changes. It makes no sense, and it's never made any sense, which is the reason why over the past decade it's remained the same year in, year out. It's gotten to the point for me personally where I'm getting pissed off. I've seen many videos of YouTubers going at sports gamers many times, especially around the time in the year when the trailers come out. It doesn't seem to get any better, and they know this, but they stick to this optimism that it will get better, and it doesn't get better. The reality is that based on the Star Wars Battlefront 2 example, you need to take a stand. You need to make your voice heard. If EA are bringing in billions from the Ultimate Team, they know they don't need to listen to you because they haven't listened to you over the past 10 years, and they know, no matter how crap the features that they add into their game are, no matter how many mistakes that they make with the glitches, they make with the gameplay, no matter how many times they fuck up, you guys will come back and buy the game every single fucking time. And they'll make billions off it every single time. And we'll be here again in 2030 saying the same shit unless these communities decide to stand up and fight for what they fucking deserve. The one thing I would love to see the developers do once the communities make a stand is I'd like to see them take the microtransactions out of the game. You can keep the loot boxes in there, but make it so you can earn the loot boxes through playing the game rather than paying for it. Another thing I'd like to see is making the Ultimate Team side of the game free. Release it as a separate game so it's free. That way, if it's paid to win, it's more understandable. But I think it would still be a bit. Some people might not like that, but still, those are the things I'd like to see if things actually started to change. But again, it requires action. The reality is that I'm gonna finish this here right now. Yeah, the fans of these games need to decide whether or not they want to make a change. If they don't make a change, other developers of other games are gonna start following EA's example and 2K's example, and it's going to get worse. Your games are going to get worse. The microtransactions are going to get worse. And before you know it, it's going to be very hard to reverse the effects that have already been happened because of what the community's lack of action has done. Another factor into the fans of these games is the YouTubers. And I'm not going at any of them, you know, obviously I don't hate any of them, but they have to understand that they affect the community that they're in. You know, every single year right here, they buy the game without a shadow of a doubt, and they buy packs in Ultimate Team, and they encourage their fans to do so by accident. Obviously not doing it on purpose, but they do it just because they're playing the game. Some people in their fan base look up to them, so they influence their fans to buy these games. Now, of course, they're doing it because they want to earn money. Obviously, it's their income. For some of them, it's their main job. So I understand that part of it, but it's time for some of the YouTubers as well to make a choice. I understand that if you stopped doing FIFA, Madden, or 2K right here, and you did Let's Plays of, let's say, single player games, you wouldn't get as many fans in your views because obviously they're not used to seeing you play that. So of course, it would take a while to get back to where it was. But YouTubers have to make a choice whether or not they want their game to be better as well, because these are also the guys that also complain at the beginning of the year around January, February. And look, I mean, okay, me personally, I'm gonna end it here. Me personally, I'm sick of this. I'm from an era where I was born in 94, and so I played sports games, NBA or American football and football. I played these games in the early 2000s, the golden era realistically of sports games. And so I know where sports games used to be. I know the features they used to have, and I know how much freaking features that these game developers have taken out of the game itself. Now, I understand it's not the games developers themselves, the individuals. I'm talking about the higher ups. Those guys are the problems, the higher ups, the ones that make the big decisions. And I'm sure the developers, that actually code the game and whatnot would love to make the game as great as possible, because I'm sure they're fans of the games themselves and the gaming history of those games as well. We need to make a change, and I hope that these fan bases will look at it and go, we need to do something, because how many more years are we going to accept this shit from these game developers? How many more times? Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.
Surprise toys. What you'll find is that this is something people enjoy. They enjoy surprises. And so it's something that's been part of toys for years, whether it's Kinder Eggs or Hatchimals or LOL Surprise. We do think the way that we have implemented these kind of mechanics, and FIFA, of course, is our big one, our FIFA Ultimate Team and our packs, is actually quite ethical and quite fun.